Well, nearly $2 trillion bailout bucks later, and stocks still in shock. The Dow plunging nearly 35% since the bailout binge began back in March. Is it time to stop digging ourselves into a deeper hole? Hi, everyone. Glad to have you. I'm Neil Cavuto. Let's get some answers from Ben Stein and Charles Payne, Adam Lashinsky, and Dagan McDowell, along with Gary Kalpam. Now, Gary, would we be better off without the bailouts?
2 words, Neil. Heck yes. You know, September 19th was this proposal for the $750 billion. The Dow is down almost 4,000 points. And for me, when the market talks, I listen. The markets are begging, leave us alone. They've been bailing out everybody under the sun. And Neil, many weeks ago, I wrote a report. What happens when markets realize they're no longer free and are being interfered on a daily basis? We are seeing it. Case closed.
Adam?
2 points. First of all, the TARP was not intended to save the stock market. So the fact that the market is down is not relevant. So the second
point, it was meant to stabilize them.
It was meant to stabilize the financial system.
They didn't expect this reaction. You can tell me that.
Well, you know, of course they didn't. But the fact remains, they didn't. And this is going to sound naive. So I'm trying to say I know it's going to sound naive. They didn't sit around a table and say, what can we do to save the stock market? They sat around a table and said, what can we do to stop
around a table and say, what can we do to get the market to fall 4,000 points?
But Adam,
didn't say that.
Adam, to your point,
I agree, they did not want to see that kind of decline.
But Adam, to your point, though, you say what it wasn't designed for. What was it designed for?
To stop a run on the banks and to make people not be afraid that the money in their money market accounts was going to go away.
No, they said it was
accomplish that.
Well, there wasn't a run on the banks to be in the first place, and B, what the FDIC did in terms of increasing insurance and bank accounts, I think, settled that. There wasn't really a run on the banks.
Well, there's a run on their stocks. There's a run on
all the stocks, and that's just.
I just want somebody who is against what the government's done to tell me what would have happened if they hadn't done it. You look in the camera, Gary Kalpam, and you tell me that, and you don't know.
We would have been worse off than 4,000.
How about 5 major banks going under in a few weeks? Isn't that possible? Answer me that. If that had happened, what would have been the stock market's reaction to that, Gary?
Dagan, we'll never know now, will we? Because they jumped all over this. We had Hank Paulson scaring the living wits out of everybody, and Congress fell for it. We can't turn back the clock at this point in time. There's no way of knowing. The only
all right, let me bring Ben in. By the way, Ben, if you would just pipe down while we're talking here. What is your sense of whether this just ruled all this nastiness?
Well, the $2 trillion number you cited at the beginning is a completely made-up number. I have no idea where you got it. Second thing is the fact
it's not a made-up number.
It's a completely made-up number.
No, Ben.
It's a completely made-up number.
No, it's not. We asked for projections from what the Federal Reserve, in terms of backstopping with monies available for the financial system, and what the Treasury allocated in the bailout rescue.
Well, it's a completely made-up number. I mean, the real number.
Well, what do you think it is? What do you think it is?
That's closer to $300 billion. But the fact.
No, Ben, I got to stop you there. Ben, no, Ben.
It's a completely made-up number. Could I answer your question?
No, Ben. When you are supporting one institution after another and backing up, and the Fed backs it up, it might be just backed up with ether, but that is money that is backing up institutions.
It hasn't been spent, and at any given time, you could say, well, what's the liability of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation? And that would be in the trillions, too. The fact is that you are doing the classic post hoc, ergo propter hoc fallacy. You might as well say because there was a World Series, the market dropped 4,000 points. The federal government has to stabilize this economy.
No, it doesn't, Ben. No, and by the way, we were pre-hocking on this. We were pre-hocking on this.
You have. The federal government is the only one that can stabilize this economy.
It is a slippery slope, Ben.
Then otherwise, we fall into a Great Depression. Maybe not a problem for you, but a problem for everybody else.
Ben, stop the nonsense. My point is that you
nonsense. It isn't nonsense. The fact is we went into a real depression. We went into a real depression because the government didn't bail us out. No, we went into a real depression. We went into a real depression because the government didn't help in 1929 to 33 in a meaningful way.
So we go the other way, Ben?
We go in for as much federal stimulus as it takes to keep us out of a Great Depression.
Ben, if you can't see what hell hath wrought here with the fury of these financial markets.
It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the
and you're so convinced of it. You are so convinced. Ben, we have committed money to rescuing one badgered bank and financial industry.
And we've got to commit even more. And we've got to commit even more. This economy is in rocky shape.
Ridiculous. Go ahead.
Look, if the right thing to do is to not help, we've done that. We did it with Lehman. Now you could argue that that was the wrong call. Ben might argue we should have propped up Lehman.
Of course we should have.
No, not necessarily. My point is, we have to be confined with what is most important. And that's why I said earlier, the fact that the market is down so much, that's really tough. It's really tragic for people who have money in the stock market.
Let me ask you, are banks lending more?
They are lending.
No. Are things opening up more?
No.
The argument, guys, the argument that was made for providing support and support institutions in trouble and too big to fail. We have now extended it. We have now extended it, Gary Kaufman, to everyone and his uncle who needs money. Maybe with the best of intentions when we started this, it is now out of control. The financial markets have no faith in our ability to deal with crises because we keep throwing money.
Neil, CEOs have faith in it.
No, they don't.
Yes, they don't. I've interviewed CEOs who actually turned down the money, and that CEO still thinks it's a good idea.
One.
I've interviewed other CEOs.
Gary, go ahead.
First, at the risk of Ben yelling at me, I think the number's $3 trillion, not $2 trillion, with all the money that's put out there.
That's an even more made-up number.
Okay, that's fine. But look, I go back to my main point right here, and I deal with facts. Since this bailout, now
Ben will just say you made them up. Ben will just say you made them up.
Right. Look, the markets have been absolutely trashed. I believe
they would have been in better shape, Gary. They would have been in better shape.
I believe there's a cause and effect in the fact that they keep interfering, and when you hand out money to one, you hand out money to the next, and where does it end?
You're not making any sense. Are you saying that the markets would? Yeah. Are you saying that the markets would not be down if we had, 5 of the biggest banks in the United States going out of business?
But what's the difference if Citi is at $3 a share right now?
It could be worse.
It could be better, though. It could be better. Because at the end of the day, we may just be prolonging the agony and using the wrong medicine. Because you guys keep talking about history. Let's talk about the early 1920s in Germany. If we keep printing up money, if we keep devaluing our listen, we can't prop this
We won't have an economy if we don't do anything.
Are you kidding me?
To Ben's point about 1929.
Do you think we have a threat of inflation? Charles, are you worried about inflation?
I'm worried that at some point, Ben, that this whole thing, we cannot keep printing money to keep bailing out these companies. And we've opened up a Pandora's box that we cannot close.
Is government owning
Inflation's not a problem today.
What I want to, Ben, I want to close off on a point with you, and then we're going to have more in this. If we are to feel guilty for the fact, as Ben Bernanke says, the government didn't do enough before the last depression, we overcompensate, and now we seem to be doing everything.
We haven't overcompensated, with all due respect.
I don't know what you look. You know what, Ben? I couldn't pay my dinner bill the other night. I sent it to Nancy Pelosi because they're paying everyone else off.
We need to bail out the auto companies. We need to have a massive stimulus package. This economy is about to fall off a cliff. We need
It's already fallen off a cliff, though, Ben. I don't understand. Like, if we bail out the auto companies, why we're just going to prolong the inevitable?
We did nothing. We did nothing in 29, Ben.
Being hungry.
We made a mistake in 29. We made a mistake with Lehman Brothers, and the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
So that's what you're doing now.
But doing it over and over again means bailing out these companies and letting them keep doing what's going
the other way and spending like crazy will somehow get us over the guilt we've experienced for the depression.
It's not guilt. It's keeping people alive. It's keeping people alive, Neil.
It is fake life support, Ben, and you're one of the smartest guys I know. If you can't see through the fake life support that we provided, look what's happened to these financial institutions.
It's not fake life support. It's real life support.
No, here's the real facts. Here's the real fact from this fakery, Ben. The stocks have cratered. The lending hasn't budged. These institutions are on the same precipice they were, if not worse. And this is after help. This is after help.
Because there hasn't been enough help.
God forbid if we didn't raise a finger.
There hasn't been enough help. Nowhere near enough, considering the magnitude
Oh, my
of the
God,
problem.
Ben, now since the Times, you've gone full. I don't know. We're going to take a quick break here.